Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. This time we're talking mega populations.
Mega population.
Yeah, countries with populations over 100 million. We're talking the true giants in the human world.
Sounds big.
Oh, it is. But it's way more than just the numbers. It's about understanding, what makes these nations tick.
Makes sense. So, what are the unique qualities?
Yeah, exactly. How do they deal with the challenges? How do they support so many lives?
Yeah, that's a lot of people. I mean, imagine the resources and the infrastructure.
I know, right? And you know what? Sometimes the comparisons are just mind-blowing.
Like what?
Some of these countries, right? They have more cities, get this, with over 1 million people than the entire U.S.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, where do we even begin with something like that?
Well, I think a good place to start is with the most populous nation on Earth.
Okay, so China.
China. Population exceeding 1.4 billion. You know what that's like.
Bigger than the U.S. for sure.
Oh, yeah. It's basically the U.S., Canada, Australia, and most of Europe combined.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what it takes to sustain that many people. The food, the water, the energy.
And the infrastructure.
Yeah.
Just the infrastructure.
It's we're talking transportation networks, healthcare systems, education systems.
On a scale that's almost impossible to even think about.
Yeah.
And get this, China has 160 cities with over 1 million people each.
160.
160, that's more than 100 New York cities.
Spread across the country.
Yeah, so you can just imagine, how do they even deal with traffic or pollution with that many people?
It's how do they manage it all?
Well, that's what we're going to try to figure out.
Okay, so China's obviously huge. Where do we go from there?
Well, how about another population giant?
India.
India, okay, yeah. I know that's another really big one.
Yeah, over 1.3 billion people, so not far behind China.
Right.
But you know what?
What?
There's a big difference.
Okay, what is it?
India's population, it's much younger than China's.
Much younger. How much younger are we talking? Their median age is only 28.
28. Wow, that's almost 2 decades younger than China.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so what does that actually mean for India?
Well, on the one hand, they have this huge potential workforce which could really drive their economy.
Right.
But on the other hand, it means they need massive investment in education, job creation, healthcare.
Yeah, they have to be able to meet the needs of all those people, especially as they grow.
Here's a crazy thing to think about. India's population, it grows every year by the same amount as the entire population of Australia.
So every year they're basically adding another Australia.
And Australia's worth of people, yeah. Every single year.
Wow. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, pressure on resources, infrastructure.
And how do you even create a society that works, right, for so many people?
Especially with a population that diverse.
Yeah.
And changing so rapidly.
So we've talked about Asia, but what about Africa?
Ooh, Africa. Good point. Pop quiz time. Can you guess the most populous country in Africa?
The most populous. Is it Nigeria?
You got it. Nigeria.
All right.
Over 200 million people.
Yeah, Nigeria's a big deal.
A major player on the continent.
And the world stage.
You got it. And, it's a country that's going through a ton of changes.
Like what?
Like rapid population growth, but also big economic and social shifts.
So it's tradition and modernity are all kind of crashing together.
Yeah, exactly. And we have to remember, when we're talking about these mega nations, we're not just talking about statistics, right?
Right.
We're talking about actual people, diverse cultures, unique challenges.
Yeah, like Nigeria, they're dealing with poverty, inequality, access to education.
All at the same time as trying to navigate this constantly changing world.
It's a lot to handle.
Okay, one last stop for this part of our deep dive.
Okay, where are we headed?
South America.
South America, okay.
So, any guesses? Which South American country has crossed that 100 million mark?
100 million in South America. I'm going to go with Brazil.
Brazil.
Nailed it.
Over 211 million people.
Wow.
The largest population in South America.
Yeah, makes sense.
And you know what? When you think about Brazil, what comes to mind?
I mean, Carnival, right, and their amazing soccer team.
Exactly. But behind all that, there's this, really complex mix of social dynamics, economic stuff, and environmental challenges.
Yeah, Brazil's a country of contrasts.
Definitely.
I mean, they're becoming an economic powerhouse, but they also have all these deep-rooted issues.
Like poverty.
And deforestation.
It's a lot. And it's a reminder that even in these huge populations, right, there are tons of individual stories.
Yeah. Millions and millions of individual stories.
all shaping the country's narrative.
Exactly.
So we've only scratched the surface here, but it's pretty clear that these nations are massive.
Yeah, and complex.
Like planets within our planet, each with its own unique set of, like, forces at play.
And it's important to remember they're not isolated, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these meganations, they're connected in so many ways. Through trade, migration, technology, culture. Their decisions, their actions, they have a huge impact on the whole world.
Absolutely. So understanding these nations,
Yeah.
it's key to understanding the world we live in.
And that's what makes these deep dives so fascinating, right?
Exactly. We're just starting to explore the wonders and complexities of these places. But I'm curious, what are your initial thoughts so far? What's standing out to you about these population giants?
You know what really strikes me? We talk a lot about globalization,
Yeah.
but these meganations, they're like microcosms of that whole process. They're dealing with the same stuff.
Like what?
Economic inequality, climate change. But on this massive scale, it's almost hard to grasp.
Like giant laboratories.
Yeah, trying to find solutions to the biggest problems that humanity is facing.
Yeah.
And the outcomes of those experiments, they're going to affect all of us.
Absolutely. It's not just about, like, them over there, you know?
Yeah.
It's about all of us. And speaking of interconnectedness, let's talk megacities for a minute. We mentioned China's 160 cities with over 1 million people, but it's not just China.
Right.
India has Mumbai and Delhi, each with, get this, over 20 million inhabitants
20 million in each city.
in each city.
Wow. I mean, that's mind-boggling. It's like they become these countries within countries.
That's a good way to put it. Each with its own character, culture, challenges.
Yeah.
Just imagine trying to, like, get around a city with more people than some entire countries.
I can't even wrap my head around that. And then you think about all the things that come with that.
Oh, yeah.
Transportation, housing, sanitation, the environment. How do you make all that work?
It's a monumental task for sure.
I bet.
Like, how do you even plan public transportation for that many people?
Yeah, 20 million people all trying to get to work or school or wherever.
And then make sure they all have access to clean water.
And sanitation.
Huge issues.
It's a constant battle, right? Balancing growth with making sure it's all sustainable.
Exactly. But you know what's interesting?
What?
They're actually coming up with some really cool solutions.
Like what?
Well, some cities are experimenting with vertical farming.
Vertical farming. Inside the city.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So they can grow food right there, less reliance on, like, rural agriculture and transportation.
Wow, that's smart.
And then others are trying out these smart traffic management systems.
To deal with all that congestion.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing.
It really is. It's like they're building the cities of the future right now because they have to.
Out of necessity. Yeah.
And I think we can learn a lot from that, you know?
Oh, absolutely. As our own cities keep growing, we're going to be facing a lot of the same problems.
Exactly. So it's like, what can we learn from their successes? But also, like, what mistakes can we avoid?
Right. Because they're on the front lines.
They're the pioneers.
Yeah. Dealing with all this, population density and rapid urbanization stuff, their experiences, they're invaluable.
So far, we focused on China and India. But there are other meganations out there, right?
Oh, yeah. Tons of them. All with their own stories.
So, should we broaden our horizons a bit? Explore some more of these giants?
I'm all for it. Where to next?
How about a country that's often called the land of the rising sun?
Okay. And it's a mega nation.
It is, and it's packed onto a series of islands.
A series of islands, okay? And its population's bigger than Russia.
You got it.
Japan.
Japan.
Of course.
Over 125 million people on this relatively small landmass.
Making it one of the most densely populated countries in the world.
You got it. And it's amazing how they've managed it.
I know, right?
Like, they've achieved all this economic success despite limited space and resources.
They're incredibly ingenious.
And adaptable.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And let's not forget their cultural impact.
Huge.
I mean, anime, manga, technology, cuisine, Japanese culture is everywhere.
It really is. And it's proof that size isn't everything.
It's about the impact you make.
Exactly. Speaking of cultural impact, how about a country known for its passionate music, vibrant art, and delicious food?
Passionate music, vibrant art, delicious food. Okay, let me think. Are we talking about Mexico?
Mexico, yes.
I knew it.
Over 126 million people. And their capital, Mexico City, is one of the biggest metropolitan areas in the world.
Yeah, it's huge. Over 21 million people, right?
That's right. Just imagine the energy of that city.
It's a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure.
Totally. And they have a really young population, too. Median age, just 29.
So a lot of potential for growth and innovation in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. But they're also dealing with some serious issues.
Like what?
Inequality, poverty. Economic growth doesn't always benefit everyone equally.
Sadly, that's true.
So we're seeing a theme here.
What's that?
Each country has its own unique story,
Yeah.
its own mix of challenges and opportunities, triumphs and struggles.
Like pieces of a giant puzzle.
Exactly. And each nation is this fascinating piece of the overall picture.
It's amazing how much complexity there is, and we're just scratching the surface.
Totally. So are you ready to explore some more?
Lead the way. Where to next?
How about a region that's known for its rich history, diverse cultures, and a population that's getting close to 1 billion?
Okay. Rich history, diverse cultures, approaching 1 billion. Sounds like we're heading to Southeast Asia.
You got it, Southeast Asia. It's home to some of the most populous and dynamic nations on Earth. And our first stop is a land of breathtaking landscapes, ancient temples, and a population exceeding 273 million.
Okay. Breathtaking landscapes, ancient temples, 273 million. Are we talking about Indonesia?
Indonesia it is, the fourth most populous country in the world.
Wow, fourth. That's incredible.
And think about this, it's an archipelago of over 17,000 islands.
17,000 islands.
17,000.
That's mind-blowing.
It's a melting pot of cultures, languages, religions. One of the most diverse countries on the planet.
And with all those islands, I bet the natural beauty is incredible.
Oh, absolutely. But, you know, with all that beauty comes challenges too,
Like what?
like climate change.
Yeah, rising sea levels must be a huge concern for a country with so many islands.
It is. And then deforestation is another big one.
Yeah, that impacts biodiversity.
And their role in, like, absorbing carbon from the atmosphere.
They're a carbon sink.
It's a good reminder that population growth, it's not just about the numbers.
It's about the impact those numbers have.
On the environment, on resources.
Yeah, the whole delicate balance of our planet.
So, should we continue our exploration of Southeast Asia?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see what other amazing countries await us.
Okay, next stop is a country known for its bustling cities, vibrant street food, and a population that's quickly approaching 200 million.
Bustling cities, vibrant street food, approaching 200 million. Sounds like Pakistan to me.
You nailed it. Pakistan, the fifth most populous country in the world.
Wow, fifth. It's amazing how many countries have crossed that 200 million mark.
I know, right? And Pakistan's a country that's changing really fast,
In what ways?
economically and socially.
Okay, yeah.
Plus, they have this really strategic location, like a bridge between South Asia, Central Asia, and the Middle East.
So geopolitically, they're really important.
Absolutely. And their population and economy are growing, so they're becoming a key player on the world stage.
Makes sense. And what about their culture?
Oh, it's incredibly rich. They have this ancient history going back to the Indus Valley civilization.
Wow, that's one of the oldest civilizations in the world.
And they have beautiful Mughal-era architecture, plus a vibrant contemporary art scene.
It's amazing how they've managed to preserve so much of their heritage over the millennia.
It really is a testament to their resilience and adaptability.
It reminds me that population isn't just about numbers.
It's about people.
Their stories, their traditions, their contributions to, like, the whole fabric of human civilization.
Each country we explore adds another thread to that fabric.
I like that analogy.
Speaking of cultural fabrics, our next stop is a nation known for its ancient pyramids, its bustling bazaars, and a population rapidly approaching 110 million. Any guesses?
Ancient pyramids, bustling bazaars, approaching 110 million. Sounds like we're headed to Egypt.
Egypt it is, a land steeped in history and mystery, one of the most populous nations in Africa and the Arab world.
And their location, at the crossroads of continents, has shaped their destiny for centuries.
Millennia, actually.
It's incredible to think about their legacy.
Oh, I know. The pharaohs, the pyramids, their contributions to, like, math, astronomy, medicine.
Even today, they're still a major force in the region and in global affairs.
It's a good reminder that population is not just about the present.
Right.
It's about understanding the past, honoring traditions, building a future that draws on the wisdom of those who came before.
Speaking of building a future, our next stop is a nation known for its rapid economic growth, its technological advancements, and a population exceeding 145 million. Any guesses?
Are you thinking about Bangladesh?
Bangladesh it is. A nation that has made incredible progress in recent decades.
I know, right? They've transformed themselves.
From an agrarian society to a rising economic power.
A testament to human resilience and the power of innovation.
And despite facing challenges like poverty and climate change, They've achieved impressive economic growth,
Lifted millions out of poverty.
become a global leader in things like microfinance and disaster preparedness.
Truly an inspiring story.
It shows that even in the face of huge obstacles, progress is possible.
Absolutely. It highlights how important it is to invest in people, empower communities, and promote sustainable development.
Lessons that go way beyond the borders of Bangladesh.
So, we've gone from the bustling streets of Dhaka to the ancient pyramids of Giza. What an amazing journey.
I know, right? We've seen the cultural richness, the economic dynamism of these mega nations.
But our adventure isn't over yet.
There are more countries to explore.
Few more stops on our tour of the world's most populous countries. Ready to keep going?
Absolutely, lead the way.
Okay, next, we're heading to a region known for its diverse landscapes, its rich cultural heritage, and a population that's getting close to 150 million. Any guesses?
Diverse landscapes, rich cultural heritage, approaching 150 million. I think we're heading to Russia.
You got it.
Yeah.
Russia, the largest country in the world by landmass.
And with a population exceeding 144 million, it's definitely a major player on the global stage.
And even though they've had some economic bumps in the road, they're still a powerful force.
Especially when it comes to things like energy, defense, and diplomacy.
Exactly. And it's fascinating to think about how vast Russia really is. 11 time zones.
Wow, 11. I knew it was big, but that's huge.
And such a variety of cultures, languages, landscapes. It's like a world unto itself.
And their history, from the czars to the Soviet era, it still shapes their identity today.
It's a good reminder that population isn't just about numbers.
It's about the historical forces, the cultural nuances, the geopolitics.
All the things that shape a nation's destiny.
Exactly. It's complex and interconnected.
Well, ready for a few more stops on our journey through the world of mega populations?
Absolutely. I'm eager to see what else we can discover.
Great. Our next stop is a land known for its stunning natural beauty, its vibrant culture, and a population that's rapidly approaching the 130 million mark. Any guesses?
Stunning natural beauty, vibrant culture, approaching 130 million. I'm gonna go with Philippines.
You got it. The Philippines. An archipelago of over 7,000 islands.
7,000 islands. Wow, that's even more than Indonesia.
They're known for their warm hospitality, their amazing music, and their ability to bounce back from natural disasters.
They've been through a lot, but they always seem to come back stronger.
And their population, over 115 million, makes them one of the most populous countries in Southeast Asia.
It's fascinating to think about their cultural blend, Influences from indigenous traditions, Spanish colonialism, American influence, it's all mixed together.
And you can see that in their language, their food, their art.
It's a melting pot of cultures.
And then there's the natural beauty. Pristine beaches, lush rainforests, mountains, volcanoes.
It's like a paradise.
It really is. And it's a good reminder that population isn't just about the people.
It's about the relationship between the people and their environment.
The challenges of sustainable development.
And the importance of protecting these natural wonders that make our planet so unique.
Well, our exploration has taken us from the busy streets of Manila to the vast expanse of Siberia.
We've seen such incredible diversity and complexity.
And how interconnected everything really is.
It's been an amazing journey.
But before we wrap things up, there's one more stop I want to make. A country known for its ancient history, its rich culture, and a population exceeding 104 million. Any guesses?
Ancient history, rich culture, exceeding 104 million. I think we're going to Ethiopia.
Ethiopia it is. A landlocked country in the Horn of Africa.
With ancient roots tracing back to the Aksumite Empire, one of the oldest civilizations in the world.
And today, it's a nation on the rise.
Rapid economic growth, playing a bigger role in regional affairs.
It's amazing to think about their cultural heritage. Their unique language, writing system, music, dance, cuisine, and their natural beauty is just as stunning.
From the Simien Mountains to the Danakil Depression.
It's a reminder that population isn't just about numbers.
It's about the cultural tapestry, the historical legacy, the natural wonders.
All the things that make each nation special. And with that, I think we've reached the end of our whirlwind tour of the world's mega nations.
It's been an incredible journey. We've crossed continents, explored so many different cultures, and learned about the complexities of managing these huge populations. It's truly eye-opening.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So let's take a minute to reflect. What are some of the key takeaways from our exploration of these global giants?
For me, one of the biggest things is the sheer diversity of human experience. Every mega nation we looked at has its own story. its own unique set of challenges and opportunities. There's no single solution that fits all.
That's such a crucial point. We can't just apply a cookie-cutter approach. What works in one place might not work in another.
Exactly. Context is key. And another takeaway for me is how interconnected our world really is. The things that these mega nations do, they affect everyone.
It's like a giant web. Touch one part and the whole thing vibrates.
Exactly. And finally, I'm just amazed by human ingenuity and resilience. Despite all the challenges, these countries are constantly innovating and adapting. They find really creative solutions to problems.
It's really inspiring to see people coming together like that, to fight climate change, address poverty, tackle inequality.
It gives me hope for the future. These mega nations are like living laboratories. By studying what works and what doesn't, we can learn how to build a better world for everyone.
I love that. They're paving the way. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
Before we go, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. As we move into the 21st century, these mega nations are going to become even more important. Their decisions will shape our planet and the course of history. So understanding them, their cultures, their challenges, their dreams, it's more important than ever.
That's a powerful message to end on. And to all our listeners, keep exploring, keep learning, keep diving deep. Because in a world of interconnected mega nations, understanding is the key to building a brighter future for all.
It's been quite a journey, right? Exploring all these mega nations. We've gone from those like giant megacities in Asia to the ancient civilizations in Africa.
Yeah, we've really seen it all. The challenges, the opportunities, the solutions they're finding, and just the incredible diversity of each of those places.
It's amazing how they're dealing with things like urbanization and managing resources,
Yeah.
trying to figure out sustainable development, all while the world's changing so fast around them.
And their decisions, like you said, they affect everyone. Global trade, climate change, everything's connected. But sometimes I think it's easy to forget that we're talking about people, real people.
Absolutely. Millions and millions of people, each with their own hopes and dreams and struggles.
It's easy to get lost in the numbers, the statistics. But it's about remembering that shared humanity that connects us all.
Yeah, and that's what makes these deep dives so powerful, I think. It expands our understanding of the world, makes us question our assumptions, and hopefully helps us to think differently about the challenges we're facing.
Because at the end of the day, we're all part of something much bigger than ourselves.
And working together, learning from each other, that's how we navigate this crazy, complex world we live in.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of mega nations, I hope it sparks some curiosity in you, maybe a desire to learn more, or even just a little bit of inspiration.
I think that's a great goal, to leave people feeling inspired.
Yeah, because these countries, they're facing some of the biggest challenges of our time, but they're also coming up with incredible solutions.
They're paving the way for the rest of us.
Exactly. So thanks for joining us on this incredible journey. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, keep diving deep. Because in a world full of these interconnected mega nations, understanding is the key to building a better future for everyone.